Gut Punched, Alzheimer's, and Caregivers. Navigating the insidious illness of Alzheimer's is something nobody asks for. The disease sneaks up on you and your loved one, and it feels like you've been sucker punched in the gut. Then you ask, where do we turn for help? Who do we call? What do we do? These questions and more are what we hope to answer and give you some direction and hope. Now let's join our host, Jeff Edwards.
Greetings and welcome. This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers, episode 43, or Bacon, not you too. Hey, how you doing this week? Hope you had a nice President's Day if you got the day off, and if you worked, well, thanks. Today we'll be looking into the correlation between diabetes diagnosis before 50 that comes with a dementia risk. And we'll also take a look at bacon can raise your risk of dementia by 13%. Oh no, say it ain't so. And we'll look at the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia, courtesy of our friends from Alzheimer's Association. And maybe we'll throw in a couple of easy tips to remember. We'll see how we're doing on time. Our Gut Punch and Alzheimer's Caregiver rules play a major role in your journey. And what are they? 1, you have to take care of yourself, because if something happens to you, who is going to take care of your loved one? 2, you can't do it alone. You need help. Find good caregiver groups or network with friends or relatives. And number 3, make a list of people, friends, relatives, coworkers who have offered to help you in the time of need, and then make a list of things you need done but can't do yourself because caregiving duties are overwhelming. Use the lists. Start at the top and keep going till you get what you need done. You'll find it very helpful. All right, we're ready. Let's roll. Diabetes diagnosis before 50 raises dementia risk. An article written by Carol Tanza Miller. A type 2 diabetes diagnosis before age 50 comes with a health risk that patients might not expect. Especially if they are obese, these folks are more likely to develop dementia later on, new research warns. The study suggests that there may be a cognitive consequence to earlier onset type 2 diabetes, and it points to the need for strategies to prevent dementia that consider both diabetes and obesity, said first study author Ying Kui, an assistant professor at NYU Rory Myers College of Nursing in New York City. Type 2 diabetes used to be a disease of older adults. These days, 1 in 5 people around the world with type 2 diabetes are under the age of 40. In type 2, patients don't use insulin properly. Sometimes their pancreas is also not making enough insulin to keep their blood sugar levels within a normal range. While it's not clear why type 2 diabetes is a risk factor for dementia, scientists speculate that high blood sugar, inflammation, and other markers of the disease may foster brain decline. Prior studies show that people diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in midlife may experience more vascular complications, poor blood sugar control, and insulin resistance, all of which are known risk factors for cognitive impairment, said senior study author B. Wu, Vice Dean for Research at NYU Myers. To learn more, Wu, Kui, and their team analyzed data collected between 2002 and 2016 for a study of 1,213 patients ages 50 and over with type 2 diabetes. They were followed for up to 14 years. Over that time, follow-up interviews found that 17.8% developed dementia, the study found. Compared to patients whose type 2 diabetes was diagnosed at 70 years of age or later, those diagnosed before age 50 were 1.9 times as likely to develop dementia. Those diagnosed in their 50s were 1.72 times as likely, and those diagnosed in their 60s were 1.7 times as likely to have a dementia diagnosis. For each year younger a person was when their type 2 diabetes was diagnosed, their dementia risk rose 1.9%, the study found. The risk was the highest among individuals with obesity whose type 2 was diagnosed before the age of 50, the data showed. The findings were recently published in the journal PLOS ONE. The study highlights the importance of one's age at diabetes diagnosis and suggests that specifically targeting obesity, whether through diet and exercise or perhaps medication, may play a role in staving off dementia in younger adults with diabetes, Wu said in the news release.
We'll be right back to Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
Repeat after me. Apple, table, penny.
Apple, red.
When you tell people he has Alzheimer's, but he's in a clinical study, it's
not so hopeless.
Yeah.
Maybe. You know, it's like, I hope we can just hang in there and maybe they'll find something, you know.
Ask me again.
What season is it?
It's when all the leaves down and
I know it's there, but I can't get it.
Yeah.
And it just kills me.
I remember watching Dad interact with the kids and thinking, geez, in 5-6 years, will he even know who they are? 1 in 10 Americans over 65 has Alzheimer's disease. Learn more today at brightfocus.org.
This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
Here is another article. Looks like it might have been done in the New York Post initially. Bacon. We all like bacon, right? Bacon can raise your risk of dementia by 13%. Processed meats like bacon, hot dogs, sausage, and ham increase the risk of cognitive decline and dementia by 13%. That's even among people who average just 0.25 servings per day. Well, here's the bad news. Bacon is up 13%. And I'm not talking about inflation. A team of researchers from the Harvard School of Public Health just released a new report with data going back almost 50 years. The bad news is that processed meats like bacon, hot dogs, sausage, pepperoni, and ham increase the risk of cognitive decline and dementia by 13%. And that's even among participants who average just 0.25 servings per day, or about 2 servings per week. Experts say this increased risk could be reversed by replacing bacon with salmon or any fish, really. Bacon and other processed meats were never considered to be peak healthiness. But the rep for these foods have taken a serious hit over the past few years. Last year, the World Cancer Research Fund linked consumption of processed meats with an uptick in cancer rates among young people. And according to a study from 10 years ago, people who eat red and processed meat every day are 40% more likely to get bowel cancer compared to those who eat it once a week or less. Whoa, that's bad news, especially if you like bacon.
We'll be right back to Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
My grandmother had Alzheimer's, and I remember we were all in the hospital room, and for like 10 seconds she recognized who we were, and then it was gone. So it's like a thief. It's taking away memories and who you are as a person. Over 5.5 million Americans have Alzheimer's. That number may double by 2050. For more information, visit rightfocus.org.
This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
You know, lately I've been nosing around the Alzheimer's Association's website and having some contact with some great people over there. And a couple things came up. Alzheimer's is a type of dementia. Alzheimer's disease is not a normal part of aging. It's a progressive brain disease that causes problems with memory, thinking, and behavior. The greatest risk for Alzheimer's disease is age. After age 65, a person's risk of developing the disease doubles every 5 years. 1 in 3 age 85 or older have Alzheimer's. Warning signs of Alzheimer's include memory loss that disrupts daily life, or challenges in planning or solving problems, or difficulty completing familiar tasks. If you have concerns, make an appointment with your doctor immediately. And I bring that up. I want to give you an overview of Alzheimer's. It's a degenerative brain disease that is caused by complex brain changes following cell damage. It leads to dementia symptoms that gradually worsen over time. The most common early symptom of Alzheimer's is trouble remembering new information because the disease typically impacts the part of the brain associated with learning first. As Alzheimer's advances, symptoms get more severe and include disorientation, confusion, and behavior changes. Eventually, speaking, swallowing, and walking become difficult. Though the greatest known risk factor for Alzheimer's is increasing age, the disease is not a normal part of aging. And though most people with Alzheimer's are 65 and older, approximately 200,000 Americans under 65 are living with younger onset Alzheimer's disease. Then you look at dementia. Dementia describes a group of symptoms associated with a decline in memory, reasoning, or other thinking skills. Many different types of dementia exist, and many conditions cause it. Mixed dementia is a condition in which brain changes of more than one type of dementia occurs simultaneously. Alzheimer's disease is the most common cause of dementia, accounting for 60 to 80% of dementia cases. Dementia is not a normal part of aging. It's caused by damage to brain cells that affects their ability to communicate, which can affect thinking, behavior, and feelings. In summary, dementia is an umbrella term that describes a collection of symptoms, cognitive, functional, and behavior, that are caused by specific diseases. Alzheimer's disease is the most common disease that causes dementia, but frontal temporal degeneration, Lewy body disease, vascular disease can all cause symptoms of dementia. Not all cognitive decline is considered dementia. Dementia must be driven by an underlying progressive neurodegenerative disease. Learning about the two terms and the difference between them is important and can empower individuals living with Alzheimer's or another dementia, their families and caregivers with necessary knowledge. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's or other dementia, you're not alone. The Alzheimer's Association is the trusted resource for reliable information, education, referral, and support to millions of people affected by the disease. You can call their 24/7 helpline, 800-272-3900. That's 800-272-3900. Or you can locate your local Alzheimer's Association. You can also explore their virtual library, and you can create an action plan using the ALZ Navigator tool. There is help for caregivers. You have to be able to find and use resources to lighten the load of caregiving and increase the person's quality of life. The Alzheimer's Association has state and regional chapters all over the country. You can call their national toll-free number at 1-800-272-3900. That's 1-800-272-3900 for a referral to your local chapter. You can seek information from their webpage at alz.org. No matter where you live, there are regional and national helplines available. The U.S. Administration on Aging can help you find your local helpline. Use the Elder Care search line at eldercare.gov/eldercare/public/home.asp. Or, this is easier, call toll-free 1-800-677-1116, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. In many places, there are agencies that offer help that can come into the home. Adult day programs or volunteer visitors may be available for your person. The internet offers access to information and help. Home health care agencies and senior centers can be sources of help also. So check them out. Great people. Very helpful. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Hope you found some of it helpful. We are working on bringing you a couple of very good interviews in the next couple of episodes. One that ties into music, one with an RN who has been a caregiver, and one with a former caregiver who has opened up a service for caregivers. Plus, we're going to take a look at a story about scientists who just discovered the single factor that could cause Alzheimer's. If you know someone who has a family member or friends who are dealing with a loved one who has Alzheimer's or any type of dementia, please share this podcast with them as we grow it to reach more caregivers and provide them with hope and direction. We would appreciate that very much. And for more information, you can check out Alzheimer's Support Network at alzsupport.org/about us, the Dubin Center at dubincenter.com. And to find your local chapter of the Alzheimer's Association, you can visit alz.org/local resources/find your local chapter. Dr. Perry's HealthSpan Partners website is healthspanswfl.com. And for more information on the guide, it's probably easier just to Google it, Edge it, or DuckDuckGo it. Our website is gutpunched.com, and the email address is gutpunchedac@outlook.com. Thanks for joining us. And please come back again. Help us grow and spread the information and resources by hitting the subscribe button. God bless.
This has been Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers, with your host, Jeff Edwards. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to us on all the platforms like Spotify, Apple, Pandora, and more. If you have a question or want to get in touch, our email is gutpunchedac@outlook.com.